彼女たちは私が同性愛者だとは知らない。
What if their feelings for me were infectious? If I were to recuperate those feelings for real, would they still accept me for who I am?
ネリ。
The person who comes to my mind is Nadine Komikata, the one I've always yearned for. I know that she wouldn't accept me, despite being... No, because she's my best friend. In that case, whether it's just a manifestation of my own admiration, or if it really is love.
思いを断ち切り、別の誰かと。
But the thought of it alone sends a knife through my heart. It's a different kind of pain to that afflicting my ankle. A pain that constricts my chest and makes it hard to breathe.
助けてくれ、ネリ。幼い頃のように。
I've lost my usual puffed up pomp, my deflated heart a tiny forlorn thing. When I'd come home crying that dusky evening, my best friend had said to me,
困ったら靴のかかとを。
I feel something tugged inside my heart, like the rumble of distant thunder. It comes. A voice that resonates clearly in my ears. No, this voice is...
ネリ。
The moment her name leaves my lips, I know it's true. I'd known her voice anywhere, no matter how far away, no matter how faint.
ネリ。
I whisper her name again, feeling like I'm about to burst into either laughter or tears. As I hear the sound of her footsteps and voice drawing closer, my feelings continue to linger somewhere in the middle, neither shifting definitively one way nor the other. Then, all at once, the nearby shrubbery rustles loudly and... She appears before me, glowing pale in the moonlight.
やっぱり来てくれたんだね。ネリね。
When I'd come home crying that dusky evening, I felt like I had regressed back to my younger self, and I realized it was becoming harder and harder to repress myself. I once spoke about dreams with a friend. My friend told me they had 3 reoccurring dreams. One was a dream of looking down on a cylindrical greenhouse, where richly colored birds and butterflies danced through the air. Another was of being naked and shivering in the middle of an empty, sterile white room. The third, she stubbornly refused to tell me, no matter how much I cajoled her, although really I only asked nicely. And she told me it was made her... And all she told me was that it made her feel bad. Every time I hear about other people's dreams, I think how different they are to my own. The dreams I hear about from others are fantastical and nonsensical, far removed from reality. They become someone else, fly through the air, go on an adventure with a character from a movie. The dreams I have aren't like that. My dreams are... mostly recollections of my past. Like I'm rewinding a tape burned with my memories and rewatching it. Sometimes I do have rather weird dreams, where someone says or does things they wouldn't normally do, but they never involve places I haven't been to, or people I've never spoken to in real life. What I see is always what I've experienced, which is why, when I dream, I always feel very sad. I transferred schools a lot due to my father's work. Despite knowing from the start that I soon have to say goodbye, I always tried my hardest to fit in. But along the way, repeatedly meeting new people and then parting from them in such a short time frame, I developed a negative disposition. Making friends with my classmates when I was just going to leave soon was pointless, and saying goodbye was painful. Just like a certain girl I know, books became my only friends. I can't say I had a good home life either. My younger brother was born when I was in elementary school. Due to complications with the pregnancy, my mother, who had previously been healthy, was from then on often ill. Of course, she would no longer follow my father on his frequent transfers. She moved into a hospital near her parents' house, and that's the image that comes to me when I think of her. Sometimes it would be a long journey to go see her from wherever we were then based. I enjoyed those little trips with my father, who I otherwise rarely got to see, and I was always happy to see my mom. My mother, laying in her hospital bed, she was a gentle woman, brimming with compassion, but she has a way of speaking that left the most important things unsaid. As a child, that made me feel extremely anxious. She'd say stuff like, "It's okay, don't worry. The doctor is extremely skilled, though there are issues elsewhere." Once on the way home from visiting my mother, my father asked me a question. I don't remember the exact phrasing, but it was about all the yearbooks I'd received. Whenever I left to school, I'd receive a big card with a signed note from each of my classmates. When I said that I was carefully keeping each and every one I received, for some reason, my father looked extremely sad. And then, after that day, I stopped moving schools. However, by the time a degree of timidity had been mixed into me already negative disposition, if I were to blame anyone for becoming timid, I'd say it originated with my mother. I excelled at remembering things and again recalling those memories. After hearing or seeing something once, I never forgot it. My mother was the same. At elementary school, when you're studying the basics, it put me well ahead of my peers. Why can't they do it? But it's often the cause that excelling in some areas can have harmful consequences in others. When I transferred into the school which would become my last, I was a terribly mechanically nervous and disagreeable child. I was at that old age on the border between early and late childhood, and that's when I met her. Nadine Kamikoto. She was the complete opposite of me. Or rather, she reminded me of who I had been once. Vivacious yet gentle, and with a firm sense of self. She stuck to her own opinions even in the face of older kids. At first, my new classmates were all nice to me, as they tried to talk with me, though they always end up withdrawing like waves from the shore. So I kept my distance from Nadine Komikoto too at first, because I thought that if I let her get close to me, she'd just leave me again one day, like everyone else had. To me, she was like the sky on a winter's night, so pure and beautiful you could get lost in her, but totally untouchable, and with a distinct boundary between herself and other people. With that boundary, I thought I saw my own making. A little while after I started at the school, we went on a trip. We were told to get into pairs to go walking, but I was on my own, as bad luck would have it. I took a nasty fall and scraped my knee. The stinging pain and the unbearable loneliness. I was so sad, so hurt. All alone, I started crying quietly to myself. Then,
大丈夫。痛くないよ。
it's okay, it's not so bad. She spoke to me as she washed the wound with water from her flask. After putting on a bandage, she held out her hand to me.
私はコミカドネリネ。知らないかもだから、もう一度自己紹介。八代ゆずりは。
I was so nervous that I couldn't properly grasp hold of her proffered hand.
正しい握手ができないと、一人前って認められないって、お父さんが言ってたよ。私の目を見て、しっかり握手するの。八代ゆずりは。よろしく、コミカドさん。ネリネでいいよ、ゆずりはちゃん。ネリネちゃん。
The memory of that moment seared into my brain. Joy wins over sorrow in that dream this time. Yes, I remember. From the moment we shook hands, I was mesmerized. Her smile, not wintry, but like a window thrown open on a sunny spring day. Are you awake? For a moment, I think the voice is a continuation of my dream. A solid warmth, a slight swaying motion, and the scent of lilies serve to inform me that this is reality. Knitting Kamikoto is carrying me on her back.
ネリネちゃん。あ、起きたのね。まだ眠っていてもいいのに。
The warmth and motion have drowsiness tugging at my lids again, but
肩を貸してくれ。歩けるよ。
ダメよ。今は平気かもしれないけど、歩いたら後でひどくなるかもしれないわ。だからダメ。
重いだろ。
全然。ゆずり葉はもっと食べた方がいいわ。軽すぎて心配になるくらいよ。
despite what she says, her footsteps betray her. She's really pushing herself.
よく見つけられたね。
大体の方角はリンゴさんから聞いていたから、ずっと走り通しだったから休んでもらったの。これ以上走ったら死んでしまうほどだったのよ。
From my position on Knitting's back, I felt profound gratitude.
残念だけれど、栗は持ってこられなかったわ。
構わない。こっちの方が貴重だ。
I burrow my nose in my best friend's nape, nuzzling against the skin. A tremor runs to her back at the ticklish sensation.
今日は甘えたがりね。
そうかな。
そうよ。だって私のことをネリネちゃんって。
My cheek flushed scarlet as I realized I spoke out while the boundaries between the dream world and the real one were still blurred.
そんなこと言った覚えは。
しっかり聞いたわよ、レリネちゃんって。前は私のことをそう呼んでいたわよね。
She asked me why I stopped, and I found myself at a
あ
loss.
だ名で呼んだ方が親密な気がしたなんて。
私はちゃん付けも好きだったのよ、ゆずりはちゃん。
勘弁してくれ。
I lower my head and nuzzle my nose against her neck again, drinking in her scent. For a while, the only sound that reaches my ears is the thud of her feet against the earth and grass.
以前にもこんなことがあったわ。
She murmurs to no one in particular. It's more like she's talking to herself than me.
森の中で、あれは遠足だったかしら。ゆずりはが怪我をして水筒の水で膝小僧を洗ったの。
The dream I was having.
ジュースは飲んではいけないって言われてたからお水だったのよね。本当は残念だったけど、でもそのおかげでゆずりはの怪我を癒せてよかった。
On that trip, I shared my first proper handshake with the girl who would become my best friend.
それで肩を貸して歩き出そうとしたら痛くてゆずりはが泣き出して、その時もこうして背負ったのよ。覚えている？
How could I forget?
覚えているよ。
そう。まだ私ゆずりはを背負えるわ。頼りになるでしょ。
Do you even need to ask? Nadine Kamikoto was a hero to me, and
最高に頼れる親友だよ。
my vision blurs with tears. The more I try to fight them, the more the tears well up, ready to batter down the dam holding the floods back. Yuzihara Yatsuryu, all over again. I've been made to recognize these feelings carved deep into my heart.
どうしようもなくコミカドネリネが好きなんだ。
There it is. I grit my molars hard to try and contain the emotion that are threatening. I grit my molars hard to try and contain the emotions that are threatening to explode out of me. My nose is stinging. She comes to a stop and turns her head, like she's listening to the sound of a festival far off in the distance. Then,
よかった。みんな来てくれたわよ。
ooh, save. Ugh. Sporting the concerned cooking club members rushing our way. Spotting the concerned cooking they just ruined it. She was about to confess and everything. Spotting the concerned cooking club members rushing our way, she turns to me with a smile as clear as the winter sky. I look down so that she won't see my tears and nod. As she waves to them from over my friend's shoulder, I watch the club members rush towards us. So Shirihan, Ichigo Sasaki, and Ringo Sasaki. Ringo did nothing wrong. Oh, sorry, buddy. Oh, man. Seeing her face makes me feel incredibly melancholy. Whatever the situation, it's up to you. Whether or not you're able to laugh it off depends on how you feel. My father's words, but what if they had come from my mother? That would be another unsaid line tacked on. You can't laugh without a heart. I squash down my feelings and smile at her, like I'm gazing off into the distance at my receding dream.
オズの魔法使いという童話がある。魔法使いへ会うためエメラルドの町へと急ぐドロシーたちの耳に恐ろしい方向が聞こえてきた。猛々しい方向の主はライオン。かかしをブリキをなぎ倒し、ドロシーの飼い犬トトを噛み殺そうとする。ドロシーは我が身を顧みずトトを救い、ライオンの鼻先をピシャリと叩いた。勇敢なドロシーへライオンは自分が臆病者だということ、小さい犬が向かってきたことで驚き、噛み殺そうとしたのだと告げる。ライオンは己の臆病さに苦悩し、ドロシーたちへ同行を願う。オズへ己の臆病さを消してもらいたいがために。私にとっての重要なキャラクター、3人目の仲間、臆病ライオン。この章でドロシーは言う。あなたに脅されちゃうなんて、私に言わせれば他の野獣たちの方があなたより臆病だわと。しかしだからといって僕は勇敢な気持ちにはなれない。自分が臆病だって自分が知っている限り、僕は不幸せなんだとライオンは告げた。そう、大勢の者から勇敢だと称えられていても、本人が特進していなければそれは確かな不幸なのだ。これから始まる物語は、自分の気持ちを偽り続ける臆病ライオンのお話。だいぶ寒くなってきたな。
I let out a long breath of air, but it's not quite cold enough yet for it to turn white. Still.
衣装が衣装だからだろうけどね。
Our ballet outfits remain the same regardless of the season, although we do get to change or wear a cardigan while we're not dancing.
はい、次は3番の方、中央へ。
It'll be my turn soon enough. No time to feel the benefits of pulling on a cardigan, unfortunately.
11月も中旬だもんな。
We're well into autumn, and although the temperature has me feeling like it's already early winter, maybe I'm just susceptible to the cold though. I've watched the lesson without really taking any of it in.
はい、次は4班の方。
I'll be up next. I'm moving into the corner of the room, ready to do some warm-up stretches when
ゆずりはさん、ちょっといいかしら。
one of my classmates who's been up dancing comes over to me, panting heavily. I already know what she's going to ask. As predicted, she asked me about her ballet performance.
君の踊りを見ていたけど、欠点らしい欠点はなかったよ。そう。ただそうだな。ジュテの際に十分に手首足首に力が入っていないように見えた。
怪我のもとだし、見栄えも悪くなるからね。
She nods, seeming on board with my critic.
さて、それ
She looks at me with a concern as I lapse into a cough and asks me if I'm okay.
空気が乾燥しているのかな。さて、そろそろ。
Group 5 to the fore, please. Sister Basquet's voice echoes around the room, and I throw her a wink as I tell her I gotta go dance. After our ballet lesson,
大丈夫？
I furrow my brows at the question.
大丈夫とはひどいじゃないかネリー。僕が肥満体型に見えたってことかい？
She catches me just as I'm getting undressed. My best friend blinks back at me.
違うわ。そういう意味で言ったのではないの。
She answers back.
確かにバレエの踊り手だったら体重は身長から110から120引いたくらいが好ましいと聞く。なら僕はギリギリ OK じゃないかな。
だから
それにねネリー、体重をあまりに減らすと生理が減ってしまうのだよ。健康上いいとは言えないんじゃないかな。
だから違うの。
Will you get off my keyboard? She raises her voice, her cheeks flushed. I smile and tell her that my ankle is perfectly fine.
それが聞きたいんじゃなかったのかい？
I thought the sprain I incurred when we went leaf viewing was a bad one, but apparently the decision not to move it was wise. I have Nitty's fireman's lift to thank for that.
それもそうなのだけど。
ん？
もしかしたら私の風邪をうつしたのかと思って。今日何度か咳き込んでいたでしょ。
She's sure been keeping a beady eye on me.
空気が乾燥しているからね。喉がイガイガしているだけさ。大したことはない。
本当に？
本当さ。疑うならブリッジしてみせようか。
I raise both my hands above my head, and she quickly assures me that she believes me.
バレエで推奨されているストレッチの一つなんだがね。
Ever since we started ballet lessons, Nitty's clearly had something against the bridge. It's a very effective stretch for strengthening the back and abdominal muscles. It's a very effective stretch for strengthening the back and abdominal muscles. I don't get what's so embarrassing about it. I smile wryly to myself. Then I hear Nitty's quiet voice.
私に気遣っているならもう平気なのよ。だから保健室へ行きましょう。つきそうからね。
This girl carried me on her back. She protected me. But ever since then,
もしかして僕の様子がおかしいと思っているのかい？
それは。
おかしくない僕を見つけるのは宝くじを当てるより難しいってネリーも知っているだろう？
I grin at her and she stares back at me for a moment. She smiles faintly. And with that, I think I might stop for right now. I was gonna keep going, but I think right now is a good time to just let everything that happened today sink in.